Okay, everyone. Our last reaction for today is a story from my dear bro on behalf of the community, MikuFan 3000, in regards to the story in regards to his rare eye infections. And he wanted me to check out his video in regards to how it came to be, and of course, he wanted my innermost thoughts in regards to how they actually happened. So, as a dear brother, I'm going to give the story a look, a full-fledged look, and of course, I'll give him my take. So with that being, so before we start the video, guys, for those who are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And thank you all so much as always for tuning in and of course giving the channel a very excellent glimpse. Make sure you subscribe to Dear Bro MikuFan 3000 for more of his videos. I'm going to add his channel in the usual areas, DCO, description, comments, and the outro. And with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and react to the video. We'll see how it goes, and that'll be all for today's reactions. Wrong clip now. Also, hope you guys enjoyed the reaction that me and him did together when we reacted to one of Miku's songs on Miku Day. That was a very wholesome time ever. Alright. Story time with MikuFan. Let's see what we got.
Hey, what's up, MikuFans? This is MikuFan 3000.
Let me turn this up a little bit.
Welcome to Story Time. Once again, I want to tell you a story about my life. And yes, this here is a very personal lifestyle I have. And I kept this a secret from you, but now it's time for you to know. So, for those of you who don't know me personally, I have an eye problem. Actually, it's known
I don't
as
think he
an eye
told me about his eye
infection.
problem though, because there's one time I remember one year when he told me about his kidney stone that he had to have removed from surgery one year, and there were also a few videos when he gave you guys an update in regards to his kidney. So if you hadn't seen that, you might want to check it out on his channel. But I don't think he told me about his eye infection, but now's a good time to actually be aware and of course understand him more.
But it's not like a normal eye infection you get. This here is a rare eye infection that I'm getting like 3 or 4 times a year. And very rarely I can get it like 7 times.
Oh,
And this one here is actually so bad that I was close to lose my eyes. And this here is an eye infection that is having no known treatment. I
wait,
mean,
didn't
you
he
can
did
treat
tell
it
me, I
with
think.
the normal eye drops, but this here is an eye infection that doesn't go away by that. And the worst of all is it only affects only 6 people per million who gets born. 6 out of a million. And sadly, I'm one of those people. And I want to tell you about this eye problem I have and how I got it and how I managed to cope with it. So, please sit back and listen to my story. If you don't want to hear it, that's fine. But I want to tell it anyway for those who want to know me. So, first time I got this eye problem was in my early teens. I mean,
Early teens.
when I was a younger kid, like 4 or 5, I didn't have any eye problems. I was a perfectly healthy kid.
Yeah.
I was running, jumping around, playing with my friends. Yeah, I mean, when I was at school, I did get used to be around kids because I got support because of my autism. But it went very great and I loved it, and I could see everyone around me. They were so joyful and it was very nice to be around them. But when I got to my higher grades, my higher school grades, I went to a bigger school. I started to notice something weird with my eyes. When I was 12, I started noticing that my left eye started to turn red, and it was a little bit itchy, but it wasn't like serious at first.
It was just like a regular eye
I went to
infection,
the
like
doctor
you
and
had a
he
pink
saw
eye.
my eye was
I had
red,
those
it
too,
wasn't
actually.
swollen, there was nothing leaking out of it, but he gave me some eye drops and eventually the red color went away in a few days. And then I was sent on my way and I could see again.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when I was 13, I got my first pair of glasses. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was okay. I could see again. But when I was 16 years old, when I was about to take the bus home from school, oh boy. When I was getting inside that bus, I started to notice that my right eye has started to hurt. And
It
it
got more
wasn't like painful at
infectious.
first, but on the way home, in the middle of the road,
Mm-hmm.
the middle to my way home,
Yeah.
my eyes started to feel like someone was punching it, and
Oh.
it was not right. So I went to the mirror inside the bus, and when I looked, my eye had turned blood red.
Sorry about that, guys.
And
It's
I
background.
was worried because I knew this color before. I had it when I was 12. And
Mm-hmm.
this this was scary. So when I went home, I went to my dad
Mm-hmm.
and he saw the red color and he was like, "What the hell, son? What has happened to your eye?" And I said, "This just
Oh.
happened. And everything is so blurry. What's happening to me?" I was scared. So he
Yeah, that's a
took me
very
to another
fearful
doctor.
experience.
He looked at my eye and once again gave me those eye drops. But this time, they didn't work.
Oh.
My eye was still hurting. It was worried. They were worried. So, since he couldn't do anything, I was admitted to a hospital. And there they gave me pain relief and they also
Didn't
gave
work?
me some much stronger eye drops. And yeah, that really helped. And in just a week, my eye had turned white again and I could see again. So that was good. And I thought the worst was over, but my god, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Because after just 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
my right eye once again turned red. And I was starting to get annoyed because why did I get so many eye infections?
Yeah.
And
That's very uncommon, people getting that
I
many eye
just
infections.
wanted to speak to a specialist who knew much more about our eyes. And
Mm-hmm.
we tried to find someone who could, but every doctor we went to said, take some eye drops. It's just a normal eye infection. Get some rest. Get an ice pack on it or something. But no matter what I did, the eye infections kept coming every single 2 months. When I was 16, 17, 18, and 19 years old.
Jeez.
Every second month, a new eye infection. And each one lasted like 5 or 7 days. I was so annoyed. I never had that many eye infections, and the worst one was when I was 20. Then I had an eye infection on both eyes.
What?
I
Both
was
of
like,
them now?
what? Both eyes? And I
But
couldn't see.
how is that
For
possible though?
2 days, I was blind. I was completely blind for 2 whole days. I couldn't see for 24 hours.
Dang.
That was worrisome. And after I could see again, we went to another doctor. And once again, he said the same thing. It's just eye infections. But this isn't right.
For a doctor to say that they're just eye infections and given his side of the story saying that they occur consecutively 2 months, Yeah, they're not just really eye infections, honestly. They're most likely something has to be like there has to be some sort of cure to prevent any of those eye infections from reoccurring back to back because eye infections like those are not to be taken lightly because well, back when I was like real young, heck, I never had that many eye infections like that. I just like get my eye rest and use eye drops if need be. That's pretty much my choice. Now, here's a little personal story on my part. When I was a kid in elementary school, I had these eye tubes, like, it got exposed, and I had to get rushed to the eye doctor to get it removed, and I had it patched up since then, and after that, my eye was feeling better.
This
Now,
is
this story,
insane.
this is, yeah, this is excruciating.
My mom and my dad knew there was something wrong with me,
Mm-hmm.
but no matter where we went, each doctor said the same thing. It's just eye infections. You can treat them with eye drops or some cool water or maybe some ice. But no matter what we did, they kept coming. But then, when I was 20 years old, the eye infections finally stopped. And I was like, okay, can I continue with my life now? Can I be happy again? Do I get to keep my eyes? Yeah, because who knew what's going to happen in the future? And my God, it will be much worse.
Mm.
Because on my last year of school, when I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
that was my last school day actually. I was sitting with my friend Jacob, and he and I was having some lunch, and we was reading a book. But then I started to notice a little itching on my,
That's when it reoccurred.
yeah, the left eye started to itch a little bit, and I thought, okay, I know this feeling, but gonna deal with it. But as the minutes went by, the itching just kept worse and worse, and I tried to ignore it, but then suddenly I just grabbed a water bottle and I just opened it and just poured it on my eye to make it
Ooh.
stop.
Did it help any?
It stinged a little bit, but it helped a little bit. But my God, after a few more minutes, it started to hurt, and it was hurting like crazy. My
Oh.
eye was hurting. It felt like someone was having a knife and was just poking me.
Oh no, 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 no.
It was that bad. And I couldn't focus about anything but the pain. And Jacob was getting worried. He was saying, "Hey man, are you alright?" He could see I was covering my eye, and I said, "This hurts, man. Why is it hurting so bad?" And when I removed my hand from my eye, Jacob looked at me in horror. And I was like, "What? Why are you looking at me like that?" And he said, "Your eye. What happened to your eye?"
It was there again, wasn't
And
it?
then I was like, "What?"
Oh
So I rushed
no.
downstairs to the bathrooms. And when I looked at my mirror, oh my God. My left eye had turned like it was not like blood red. It was dark red.
What?
My eye had turned darker red than ever before. And the worst part was I saw yellowy fluid leaking out of it.
Oh.
And
That's not a good sign. That
that
wasn't a
has
good
never
sign.
happened before. And suddenly, I couldn't see out of it. I couldn't see out of my eye.
Oh.
And I screamed. I screamed for help. And Jacob was so kind to rush downstairs to me. He heard my cries, he heard my plea for help, and he called 911.
Thank goodness he came
And in
through.
just 10 minutes, an ambulance came and they took me to the nearest hospital in Kolding. And the doctors had never seen an eye in this color before. They were shocked. And let me tell you, when I was rushed to the hospital, they tried asking me what has happened, and I told them what had happened. It just came out of nowhere. And yeah, the craziest part was my eye was leaking so badly that it could actually grab a little beaker and collect a sample of the yellow fluid for for
For examination?
science.
Oh.
And yeah, then I was rushed to the hospital. We arrived, and then I was inside that hospital room, and they looked at my eye for hours and hours, and I was screaming, "Please help me! I can't see out of my eye. What's happening to me?"
So it wasn't just any
And I
common
had
eye infection, it was more
these
than that.
infections over and over again in my teens. And
And you were an
when
adult,
my
you were
mom
20, and you were 21 and you had it even worse than those times.
then my mom and my dad arrived, and when they saw my eye, it looked like they couldn't recognize me. They were so horrified. I was a monster. I looked like shit.
No, don't say that.
I had a perfectly normal eye and an eye that had turned darker red with yellowy fluid continuously leaking out of it.
I mean,
It was
thankfully,
horrible.
I know those times were very, very dire, but thank goodness it didn't persist. And God forbid it should, because given the description of how it got more degenerate when you were 21, and thank goodness Jacob came through. And sorry, guys, but just hearing this, it's it's kicking in too deeply. And the fact that it got more degenerate compared to his times as a teen, I never had that stuff before, and thank goodness no one should like have it. It's crazy, and eye diseases like those, they're not just common eye infections. They're just like it's more than that. Given how it worsened when he was 21, and man, I feel bad. Thank goodness he's still good, though. Thank goodness Miku's still good.
I couldn't believe that my life has turned into this nightmare. I was hospitalized in there for days. And then suddenly, a new doctor, I don't know his name right, but his name was like Jake or maybe Justin, but either one of those two names. But he came in and he was an eye expert, and he have seen my eye closely, and he could clearly see that this is a rare thing. So he looked at that sample, that sample I mentioned,
That oozed out of the
in the
eye that
little
time.
beaker, the yellowy fluid in
Yeah.
the blood. He looked at that under a microscope, and that was the answer. It was an eye infection, but this one here is a rare eye infection that affects only 6 people per million. 6 people out of a million who gets born gets this eye infection. And it was so rare that it doesn't even have a name yet. So, at some point, when I heard the news from that doctor, I was like, whoa, I wasn't insane. There is something wrong with me. And it was rare that it didn't even have a name. I did have something wrong with me after all.
A degenerate
For the
fluid with
first
no
time,
name.
I smiled because of that. I couldn't believe that something so horrible could make me so happy back then. But it did. I wasn't crazy. All the doctors we went to, they were wrong. I wasn't wrong. It was unbelievable to believe it. But the worst wasn't over. I still had this problem. And the doctors, they gave me morphine. They gave me other kinds of pain relief to relieve this pain.
How did it
Reminds
work?
me all the way back then when I had the kidney stones. But yeah, enough with that.
I'm gonna provide the information card of that if you want to check it out for yourself. I also voiced my opinion on that time when he had the kidney stone situation. So if you want to see the story from his perspective as to how it happened, you may refer to the information card on the top right.
Back to the eye, because I was in there for days and days and I couldn't see out of my eye. The only way I could see was with my right eye. That was the functional one. But this one here kept being red and the yellow fluid continued to leak out of it. I mean, it was even crazy. If you had a small glass, a shot glass,
Mm-hmm.
my eye leaked so much in one of these days that it could literally fill up that glass with yellowy fluid. It was that crazy.
Oh my
I've never
god.
seen that before. And then, after 10 days, one of the doctors came in and said, "Sir, we have to make a choice. Your eye can't be saved. We need to remove it." When I heard that, I looked at him with my normal eye and I said, "You are going to remove my eye?" And he said, "It's the only way
No.
to make sure you get a healthy life. Your eye can't be saved." But then I just
The hell I
grabbed
can't.
his shirt, I pulled him towards me, and I said, "No surgery." And then I just let him go and he backed away in shock. And I'm not joking, I did this, I grabbed him, pulled him towards me, I said, "No surgery," and let go. And then he just left the room. I couldn't believe I had that in me.
Dang.
And a nurse came in and she said the same thing with more kind tone. But once again, I refused. I said, "I don't want a surgery. I'm gonna keep my eyes until the day I die." And without my permission, there was not going to be a surgery. The doctors, they continued for 5 days. 5 days to convince me to reconsider for an operation to remove my sick eye. But I kept saying the same thing: no operation, no surgery. I wanted no surgery. I refused. And after that, those 5 days, they gave up. And I was still in the intensive care unit with a sick eye for almost a whole month. Yeah.
Oh my.
But then, as I continue fighting, oh my god, after 29 days with this eye, 29 days, I opened my eyes after I woke up from a night's sleep, and I suddenly saw, I could see out of this eye still, but I saw everything was blurry with this one. And I was like, "It's blurry. Did I
Uh-oh.
get some vision?" I immediately called the doctor, and he came in, Dr. Jake or Justin, don't remember his name yet, but he is very kind, and he looked at my eye and he could clearly see that I was responding when he did this with the fingers. And I said, "I can see out of this eye, but it's blurry. Is that a sign of good news?" And he said, "Yeah, that is good news. And look, your eye is less red now. And I looked at a mirror, and he was right. My eye had turned less red, and the yellow fluid has stopped leaking.
So,
That was like the best news I could ever wish for. My prayers had been answered.
dang.
There was something good happening right now with me. And I was like, okay, maybe I can fight this off after all. And at day 30, more progress was made. And day 31, my eye was no longer red. The redness has gone. And let me tell you, day 32, I put on my glasses.
You were able to see again.
And I could see. I was in the hospital in intensive care unit for 32 whole days. That's a little bit over a month.
Yeah.
And my eye had returned to normal. My eye had returned to normal after this time. I thought I was blind, but no. I could see. I got my vision back. I was so happy.
Yeah.
And the
Thank
doctor
goodness.
took me to an eye specialist to make sure I could see out of my left eye again. I had like an eye patch on my right eye, and then also on my left. Yeah. They make sure I could see out of both eyes perfectly, and I did. My vision returned. I was so happy.
Thank goodness. So it didn't persist at the time.
I was able to see out of both eyes again. I fought it off. And the doctors couldn't believe it. They thought that eye infection has taken away my eye.
But it didn't.
Good.
And look,
But no.
you're still here, man.
So lucky
And your eye is still going strong, too.
to fight it off. And then I was discharged from the hospital after day 34.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went out, I looked up at the sky.
It was crystal clear.
With both eyes. It was so beautiful.
Crystal clear.
And I went to tears. This time I didn't cry yellowy fluid. I cried tears of joy.
Thank goodness. Let it all out, bro.
I was so close to lose my eyes, but I fought it off. I did fight it off.
That scientifically proves that you're a fighter, bro. You're a fighter.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, man. Just let it out.
I mean, when you're so close to lose the thing that matters most to you, your eyesight and your hearing, but mostly your eyes, being blind is not fun. But I fought it off.
You're a fighter, man.
I was a fighter. I refused.
Yeah, exactly.
I refused surgery.
And fighters never go down uneasily, man.
And I managed to win. I won that battle. And it was so good. I felt victorious. I felt happy. And when my parents saw me, when I went back home, it was the greatest moment of my life. They thought I returned home with a plastic eye that covered the wound. But when they saw it was both my real eyes, yeah, I got a very huge welcome back home hug, if you can call that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that's a hug I will never forget. It was the best moment of my life to win against that eye infection.
Mhm.
But that was back then when I was 22 years old. And since that day, I continue to get these rare eye infections like 3 or 4 times a year. But they're not like that bad, except for the one when last year there was admitted to the hospital for 1 week. But
Mhm.
those bad ones, they happen very rarely. So, yeah, that's all I can say to this one. But every time I get these eye infections, all I do is just call that doctor who found out that I had this rare eye problem that affects only 6 children per million. And yes, it's so rare that it doesn't even have a name.
Mhm.
It's insane, isn't it?
No kidding.
And when I was 23, I found another person who also had the same problem as I have. His name is Oliver,
He told me
and
about
he
him
lives in
too.
Sweden. Even though he was born in Spain, he's living in Sweden now because it's there he works. And yeah, that's how I cope with it because now I know there's other people like me out there. 6 of us gets this problem. And sadly, Oliver and I, we are the people who got it. But we managed to cope with it because we talk to each other. We know the problem we have. But sadly, Oliver, he is a fighter, but he lost one of his eyes because of it.
Yeah, Miku
Because
told me about that one time too.
in a very extremely unlucky situation, the yellowy fluid leaked into the inside, the behind of his eye, and that destroyed the nerve cells and the blood vessels linked to his eye. And
That's
he was
scary.
just
That was
running
scary when.
away, and to make sure he didn't get an infection behind the eye has to go. It was the only way to save him from running away. I mean, the inside of his eye was rotting alive, and it was horrible. And I feel so sorry for him. But today he's doing well with a plastic eye and a normally functioning eye. I can even show you. Okay, everyone, this here is Oliver when he was 16.
Mhm.
Back then, you can see here he had 2 perfectly normally working eyes. And there I didn't knew him, but he was a very kind friend, and we still talk to each other to this day. And I respect him a lot, and I really like this guy. He is very kind, and I'm so glad I got to meet him.
Mhm.
But when he was 17, he got a major eye infection on that eye, and this is the result. Look at this. A normal eye and a plastic eye to cover the wound. It was so horrible to see that he lost that eye, but I'm just so thankful that he's still alive and that he can still see with this eye, even though I wish he could have fought this, but sadly that yellowy fluid just continued to leak inside that eye, and that destroyed the nerve cells and the blood vessels. But he is doing well, so please don't worry. And the last photo I want to show you, that's actually me. This is one of the times when I had this. Look how red my eye was. Isn't that crazy?
Mhm.
I mean, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But back then, it was one of the minor ones, but it's still very annoying. This was the last year. But thankfully, the red color disappeared in a few
And
days.
that's true that he had it last year
My
too.
eye
He told me
returned to
about it.
normal, so that's at least good. So yeah, MikuFans, that's that story. I am one of 6 people per million that gets this rare eye infection. And if the yellowy fluid just leaks into it from behind, your eyes is permanently damaged and can't be saved. And that day, I was so close. But thankfully, my refusal for surgery and my continuing to fight saved my left eye. And I was so happy. So, that's the story of my rare eye problem. I hope I didn't take too much of your time, but
Oh no. No.
I wanted to tell you for so long. And now
This really hit to the soul. It really did.
And this affects 6 people per million. 6 people per million gets to suffer this rare eye problem. It's horrible, isn't it? But I want to say thank you to those doctors who continued to believe in me and who continued to fight for me. And most of all, my friends. You were there for me. I couldn't have fought this off without you back then. And that eye infection I got, that was 8 years ago. And to this day, I continue to get these eye problems 3 or 4 times a year. But most of the time, they are minor and can be treated easily. But when it's one of those major ones that happens very rarely, and thank God for rarely, I would say go to the hospital as soon as you can. For
Take
those who have
action.
this eye problem like I and all of
Yeah.
you have, go to the hospital immediately. It might save your eyesight, like it did to me. But also, MikuFans, one last thing before I end the video. The doctors today, they are trying to find a treatment, a cure for this eye disease, this rare eye problem. And also, they're trying to find a name for it. But right now, it's just known as an eye infection, a very troubled one. And to this day, I'm also a candidate for treatments. I've actually signed up to help people with rare eye problems, and it's happening.
That's incredible,
in
bro.
Copenhagen, Denmark's largest city. I'm going there every 3 months for a little trial, and I'm also having a meeting with other people who is having this problem, like Oliver and me. And it's also there, see Oliver, and I'm very happy that he's my friend. So today, they're still working for a cure.
That's amazing,
Right
bro.
now, there's still no known treatment. But maybe one day, there will be a treatment for it, so no other people has to suffer, like Oliver, the rest of them, and me are doing. But as long as we are getting help, we can manage to pull through. So, yeah, I would say thanks to those doctors. You're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
And we will
They really
continue
are.
to fight until you can find a known cure for this.
Yeah.
So thank you. So yeah, that's the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate all your support. But don't worry.
Of course, bro.
Because of this eye problem, I will continue to make videos for you out there. Because we all believe in Miku. So yeah, that's all I can say. Continue to fight out there. And out there is a doctor who can help you. So don't give up. Continue fight.
Giving up is never an option.
Because the very last thing you're going to lose is your hope. So don't let go of it. Always believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe in those who helps you. But most of all, believe in your spirit. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. So, I want to say the words I always say before I end the video. If you want to see more, of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button today to become a MikuFan. And I'll see you next time in my next video. So, bye bye MikuFans. Stay tuned for more. And as always, believe me, God's in it. Sees the best. Have a good night, everyone. I love you all. See you around.
Sorry about that. That was a very powerful story. I know at one point Miku told me his about his eye infection, how it like it's kind of like I'm trying to piece together what I intend to say in regards to what he told me. It's very crazy how it can happen to 6 people a million who are born, and for him to be one of those people, and for Oliver to also be one of those people who had that eye infection. It's insanely troublesome. But not only that, but they took action, and when it comes to stuff like that, no matter how major or minor it is important to take action. And my mom always told me to take medicine right away in case I get like a severe sinus infection or allergy infection. It it goes for every infection that you have. Even if you feel as though it might be minor, it is still important to take action. But to hear this story in regards to how Miku had his eye infection that had lasted for like a long duration of time now. Well, during his teen years, it happened every 2 months, and as it gotten more degenerate at the age of 21, his friend Jacob came through, and thank goodness, if you're watching this video, Jacob, thanks so much for looking out for him. I really appreciate it because, well, MikuFan honestly is like a brother for me. He's been like a brother for me because, well, we've been growing together, and of course, we have been achieving so many accomplishments together and everything. And had I not come across him, I wouldn't have given him the love and support that he really needs, like any other who I love out there, even my family too, in real life and online. And to hear the story about how the doctors like had their course of action, like taking action, saying that he needs surgery. Part of me on the inside felt that there has got to be another way to resolve this. Like there has got to be another way to alleviate the infectious eye that he had so far, because God forbid that he lost another eye. And thank goodness he's still striving through to actually see still had that same eye that was infectious and causing so many problems. And thank goodness he recovered from them too. Not to mention, he also told me on Discord in regards to his eye infection. And as I got to this video, from that time to now, as I got to this video, and the fact that he mentioned all of this, even his times at the doctor and intensive care unit, the fact that all this came about, it that's the part that struck me the most, considering that it was almost like they had no other options but to remove the eye. But one doctor said, one thank goodness that some doctors actually see things through and tell him that it's a rare thing. But the thing is, they don't know the actual name of the infection that's causing this problem for him. And I'm just glad that he came through still. And he fought it off. He was one hell of a fighter, and he still is, because he has a fighting spirit within him. And with that fighting spirit, he was able to fight off every hint of the infection that had been troubling him for quite some time. And that kind of reminds me of how I fought off the pain that I had when I had the tooth removed from when I had the eye infection, like 1 year when I was in elementary school. And after some time, my eye recovered, and thank goodness for that. And even though I had eye surgery on this right eye, to say the least, I was still able to see. And God forbid I lost that eye. That was when I was like real, real young. I had eye surgery. They were like doing some examinations on my eye, and thank goodness it didn't like sustain, because if it did, then I'd be without, I'd be lost an eye. And God forbid that happens to any one of you out there who have eye infections. And this story just like touched me deeply, and I'm just very glad that he actually pulled through all those phases, even though he's still undergoing a few eye infections. And I'm just letting my thoughts and prayers on him and his family for him to help him keep fighting. And don't ever lose hope. Like you said, do not ever lose hope. That's the very thing you could ever lose. Because if you lose hope, everything will start to crumble, and you will not be able to hold everything back together. And I'll say that for myself. If I ever undergo any infections or anything relatable, whether I'm sick, whether I'm undergoing an infectious phase like this at any time, but no matter what you guys are going through, only one objective you can ever do: do not lose hope. Keep fighting, because deep down you have a fighting spirit. You have a spirit, period. No matter what spirit it is, you can still use it to fight your way through. And that's what MikuFan advises to every single one of us, including me. So I hope you guys take that into excellent perspective. And with that being said, guys, thank you, MikuFan, first off, for the story of how you had those eye infections at the time, and thank goodness you're still pulling through. I hope and pray that you will still keep fighting through those phases, bro. I love you, dear bro, from yours truly. And please give Oliver my regards and tell him I say hey too, because, well, he actually told me about Oliver, and he's an amazing person. And I honestly wish I hope to actually talk with him someday. So, with that being said, guys, that is going to conclude my reactions for today. And yeah, guys, this was a very powerful video, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, sorry about that. That was my phone that vibrated. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here and, of course, work on some other things. Thank you all so much as always for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed, and of course leave your comments down below, and subscribe for more content if you're new with notifications on. Make sure you subscribe to MikuFan 3000, and of course keep fighting if you're undergoing the same thing as him. And bro, if you're watching, I love you so much, and thank you so much for being a part of my life like any other. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all as always and so much for watching. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here and sign off. This is Survey Junkie. I love you guys very much. Never lose hope, never give up fighting, and just keep striving. Even if you feel as though it is hopeless, it is never hopeless to keep fighting. You have the power to fight your way through every predicament that you undergo. You are entitled to use that power. It's what helps you strive for triumph. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching today's reactions, because, well, I got a voice reel video that I intend to upload later on today, because, well, it's been a hot minute since I posted my voice reels. But other than that, guys, hope you guys have a very blessed and safe weekend. Remember to take excellent care of yourselves, stay loved, and of course talk with those who are willing to help you and everything. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I love you guys very much. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. I love you guys. If you love music, and if you would like to partake in supporting my channel by purchasing music, please refer to my song list down below. Hey guys, Silverreploid CLE here. I want to thank all of you for watching this video. Please smash on the like button, subscribe for more content if you're new, and please turn on the push notifications. And also, please make sure you check out my other videos or any video on display and show tons of love and support for not only me, but to those who are also involved. Have a great one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!